Welcome to the boot. We're breaking down Mexico and Poland. Each of them, their first match in the World Cup, Group C. Should be a pretty even matchup, so let's go. All right. Mexico, Poland. So Mexico brings a 4-3-3 formation and some familiar faces, especially their goalkeeper, Ochoa, back for his 5th World Cup. So I had to call that out. That's pretty sensational. Congratulations there. And then Poland brings a 5-3-2. And of course, they have superstar Lewandowski up top, having another great season this year with Barcelona. All right, so let's go to the first highlight. What I wanted to show you here is Mexico on the attack, first half, going up for a header in the box. And now this header is actually going to go just wide of the post. It wasn't hit extremely hard. And we often don't give enough credit to defenders. So I did in this case because it's a pretty fairly even jump by both Mexico and Poland for the ball. Poland's defender, though, does a really nice job of actually leaning back and interfering with Mexico's attempt on the ball. And anything you can do to throw the opponent off in the box, especially on a header, the better. And especially when you consider how dangerous headers are, players aren't going to want to slam their head forward if the defender's head is not only just straight up, but actually leaning towards him. So Poland's really given Mexico no room to head this ball and snap it down. And as a result, the ball just goes sort of looping in the air with no mustard on it and goes side of post. It would have been an easy save for the keeper. A little bit concerned, too, about Mexico. As you see the two other teammates just standing there. This is right in front of goal, sort of ball watching. And it was a theme that I noticed all throughout the match. Yes, Mexico does hustle quite a bit in certain areas of the field and at certain times. But as you'll see later on, too, we catch them ball watching again. And it's really kind of astounding when these guys aren't even marked in the box. Neither one is really calling for the ball as far as a knockdown so they can have an easy tap in, and they don't even look really ready for the next step. So no athletic position. This is early in the game too. It's not like they're tired. So a little bit of a red flag there for Mexico. Okay, and as this ball comes in, you can see it's fairly high up in the air, and from this angle, it looks close, but it wasn't terribly close. Keeper had it easily covered, and the two Mexican teammates there again are kind of ball watching the keeper without really charging in, hoping for a small rebound. The next thing I want to show you is an attack by Mexico. And by the way, big fan of Mexico, and so this just happens that the first two examples I have here are a little bit questioning of El Tri. So in this situation, I have purposely highlighted 4 Mexicans on the attack. Well, I say they're on the attack, but you're going to find out they're not really. The Mexico player to the far right, where I have the arrow, is actually going to be attacking this ball. And he already is. So he's running, but the other 3 highlighted Mexican players that are already in the box are actually going to stay stationary, which is quite astounding because when Mexico actually beats Poland to the ball, those 3 Mexican players that are in the box already should, of course, be attacking their typical spots, right? One should be going near post, one should be going center post, or possibly it's going in towards the spot and then pulling back a little bit. And the guy on the end should be going to the far post or in that vicinity. By the way, as you look at this, does it look like Mexico is even going to beat the Poland defender to that ball? I mean, the Poland defender looks only a couple yards from the ball. So, that could be one reason why the other Mexico players in the box were kind of stationary, but it's no excuse. So let's see how this unfolds. As usual, we try to give you a bird's eye view first on most of these plays, and then when we can, we give you some really good close-ups. So it's helpful to see both angles. Typically, the more the better, right? So here's the next frame to show you how it unfolded. Actually, the Mexican player on the far right with the arrow did beat the Poland player to the ball, and he's looking to cross. Okay, I actually highlighted a fourth Mexican teammate in the box. This is quite astounding. You don't see this too often. You remember the prior frame? All four of those players are practically literally in the same spot that they were in the prior frame, even though the Mexican player on the right who now has the ball was, and I'll just go back so you can compare one time. This is kind of fun. Look where the Mexican player on the right was in that frame, and he covers a good, 6+ yards to get to the ball. And four of his teammates are doing nothing. One of them, closest to him, is basically taking a siesta at the beach. He had tripped on his own. There was no foul. He doesn't bother getting up. He's literally watching from his towel on the beach. It's quite remarkable. So just go back one more time. He's there. He's already looking at the ball. He was the closest, the man on the ground for Mexico. He doesn't even begin to get up. I mean, this is the first half of your World Cup. This is astonishing. So what can the Mexico player on the right-hand side do other than take a terrible shot on goal? What I mean is an angle that's terrible. The shot necessarily wasn't terrible, but look where the other four Mexico teammates are. I mean, if Mexico's coach sees this, as he should, at least on the video after the game like we're looking at, this should never happen again. So all four of his teammates have left him hanging. That's not a good sign for Mexico for this game or for the rest of the group phase. And the ball goes right over. So you can see that the angle is just terrible. The keeper's done the right thing, protecting the near post. And the Poland defenders are well organized. I mean, they don't have much to do, but at least the three defenders in the center of the box are between the goal and the Mexico players. So let's move on to the next key moment in this match. Okay, so this is Lewandowski from Poland in the white shirt. He's in the box. He's just crossed the 18-yard line there, and he's in a tussle for the ball with the Mexico defender. They're kind of neck and neck, so no one necessarily is leading the race to this ball. But the Mexico defender makes the mistake of actually grabbing Lewandowski's shirt there. You can see it. Other than that, they're muscling. It's fine to muscle, but if you're going to grab somebody's shirt with video replay these days and millions of cameras all around, that's not very smart. Doesn't matter how hard you pull, but he does actually pull pretty hard and for quite a while. Keep in mind, of course, the freeze frames that we use cover a lot of milliseconds. So from there to here is a decent amount of time. They've both taken another at least full step, and he's still got his shirt. He's even wrapping his wrist a little bit to make sure, because Lewandowski looks like with longer legs, he might actually beat the defender to the ball. So already three major red flags for Mexico, and this is what I love about what we do is when you just see a score line and you maybe see one little highlight of a goal being scored, you get nowhere near the picture that you get when you break it down. So here we go. The Mexico defender, this is classic, is falling down and still has a hold of Lewandowski's shirt. He's going to pull Lewandowski down and pretend like Lewandowski tackled him, and the referee's going to have none of it. And I know you Mexican fans out there, you have to admit what I'm saying here. It's lighthearted, but it's kind of funny at the same time. So let's see what the next frame shows us. Lewandowski does indeed get the penalty. Pretty simple call. Which way is he going to go? Well, he approaches the ball, and Ochoa blocks it because Lewandowski went to his right. Ochoa's left. Ochoa has had a pretty good record in the World Cup of saving a few penalty kicks. Good for Ochoa. He guesses correctly. It wasn't a bad penalty kick. Wasn't exactly in the corner, but was a decent kick. It would have gotten by a number of keepers, even ones that had guessed that way. So tough luck for Lewandowski. He's still yet to score in the World Cup. He did not score in Russia. And it's difficult for Lewandowski. I feel for him because he's phenomenal, and he just doesn't get near the service that he gets at the club level when he was with Bayern Munich or now with Barcelona. So that's a wonderful shot where you can see Ochoa reading the ball right off his foot really well. And he's got those saucer eyes. Lewandowski hitting it right in the middle of the ball with the side of his foot like you should. Let's move on. Well, here's one more angle, which is kind of cool because, the cameras these days in the nets, sometimes you don't even see the nets. You just see the wonderful shots from behind the scene. Wish they had more of those. But interesting game, but 0-0 draw at the end of the day. Game of inches where Mexico may have been able to score more. And then Ochoa comes up big. Otherwise, it would have been a 1-0 victory on the penalty kick. So if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and sharing and liking. And also give us your comments. What did you agree with or maybe not agree with on this highlight show? And what kind of things do you want to see in the future? Thanks a lot.